A quick question: is the portal, Corate customer portal, expected to be used between support organizations, that is your support organization and a customer support team, since it's in a since you operate in a business-to-business environment? Kyle, this is a question for you from the field.
Yeah. So the answer is yes. So I think that this was it's kind of an interaction mechanism for them. I would say it's interesting. Kind of going back to the question that you had just answered, Sri, around kind of will this reduce email? And the answer is it really kind of depends on kind of the method of interaction that your customers are accustomed to. So for us, being a data storage vendor and dealing with folks that are constantly in the data center, and when there's an outage or something that they need to troubleshoot, being able to log into having to log into something that's connected to the internet, and then kind of log into a customer portal and use that as the interaction point, sometimes is actually a little bit more burdensome for them, and sometimes they just would love to have the ability to interact via email. So we allow for both of those, and I would imagine that once the ticket is open, that they're probably going to interact via email, for the time being. That being said, one of the challenges that we ran into, and one of the reasons why we wanted to make sure that the support cases were a pretty critical component of the support portal, is if someone would log a support ticket, and it was critical for everyone else to be able to see that that ticket's been logged, and be able to see any sort of updates around that ticket, kind of what the status is. Obviously, just having it be email when you log a ticket, it becomes challenging to see if that ticket's open, what's that ticket number, and kind of the relevant status of it. So to answer the question, yes, it is definitely going to be between our support organization and our customers who are actually kind of deploying our technology. But the methods by which they do that will be, I think, a mixture of the portal as well as email.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, I think that's where the stages come into the picture. I mean, I think the strategy that is being implemented, deployed at Corate is to build a platform and then leverage it further. Another question that's just come up is a recommendation on Salesforce capability, Visualforce pages, or any other interface. So I'm going to field this. There is an ease to using Salesforce native pages and Salesforce native user interface elements. Certainly, it's easier. It's built inbuilt and things like that. But once you start thinking about or considering using site kind of technology, where you are morphing your customer portal to look identical to your website, then it becomes much more important to look at some tools that can offer the appropriate level of embellishments up front. And for example, in Corate case, we have actually some third-party toolkit also implemented to get the right level of slickness, if you may, or match with the rest of the website.
Yeah, and Sri, just to kind of add to that point, I think from our perspective, we had to have something that was integrated and at least looked from a design standpoint as if it was essentially our site and they weren't going somewhere else because of the security. I mean, we wanted customers to feel very, very secure around kind of the information about their purchases, their serial numbers, their support cases, information about their environment. They needed to feel visually as though that they were kind of still integrated within our system and in our site. And even though they are logged into Salesforce, and even though it is very secure, that just kind of the look and feel as though that it's a part of ours was pretty critical, and a message that we wanted to send across to them of this is very, very secure and very, very safe.
Excellent. Very good point. I mean, I think customers have to feel a very high level of comfort and confidence, Kyle. That's a very good point. I mean, we want to make sure. I mean, if it is jarring, if that experience, that handoff is jarring, going between a web property of a company to a customer portal and back, I think that causes a lot of confusion. So I think that should be for anybody looking to either implement a customer portal or expand and enhance their portal. certainly would recommend looking at how to make the look and feel. I mean, invest a bit on time and energy on the site kind of capability or some other capabilities where you can make sure the customer has a much more seamless experience going between the customer portal part of your website and the rest of the part of your website. Great. Another question, Kyle, this is for you. How does hiring a Salesforce.com system integrator help in building your customer portal?
Yeah, so we well, for one, we had some expertise. I mean, I think that Salesforce is nice enough that you can kind of feel like you can get in there and get at least a workman's knowledge of how to design things. But based upon where we wanted to go, being able to describe kind of an end state as to what we wanted it to look like, what we wanted it to feel like, and how we wanted it to function, and have have a third party, and of course in this case it was Exafort, have you guys be able to translate that, understand how that's going to work, and also be able to provide us with some options. So, for example, a scenario where it's there's multiple ways to perhaps achieve kind of an end state that we were going for, and perhaps you came back with there is a low-cost option, which would be this version, but it may be hard to scale. And so in which case you may want to, if your expectations and your growth pattern as a company is going to be 1,500 to 3,000 to 10,000 customers, perhaps it's worthwhile to choose this option that's going to scale much more down the line. So being able to have not only the ability to translate and see our vision, understand what our vision was, and kind of turn that into a plan to implement on top of Salesforce, but also the ability to come back and show us some options around, here's our recommendation, but there's other ways to do this, and here's what needs to be considered around which decision you make, is pretty critical. Otherwise, you might be making these decisions early on, and all of a sudden, as you grow or as things change, it becomes very, very hard to kind of adjust them on the fly. So we wanted to make this as scalable and as simple as possible, so that as we grow and we want to add more features and modules on top of it, we're able to do so in a very seamless manner.
Excellent, excellent. Great, Kyle.